Hello, my name is Alun. My pronouns are he, him, and today I am facilitating the third session of a short series of a kind of hack together game of mine called the Cluster that I might become a game. Actually, I think it's got some legs. Um, and check out itch or drive through in a couple of months to see whether that's true. Um, I'm not going to say any more about it because there's lots of stuff in the earlier episodes you can fill in, and we want to get on with playing. I will say that we are playing as part of the Open Hearth gaming community. If you don't know about Open Hearth, type it into Google and it will find us, and then you can come and play with us. Um, and we are playing within that community's code of conduct, and we're also playing with a set of lines and veils. So I will just invite the players just to check out and remind themselves of the lines and veils we're playing with. Um, and then we'll make a start. So our ragtag bunch of space cowboys, stroke fugitives, stroke religious. I almost said bigot, but that's not entirely true. I don't think Gallant is a bigot. He's just very committed to his politico-religious authoritarian regime, and a former mercenary. Um, are currently um, in pursuit of what we've described as the mystery ship. But fanatic is a much nicer word. Yes, Dr. Rillisk, it is. um, uh, you want to know about the mystery ship? Check out sessions 1 and 2. But before we do anything else, we need to just think about what happened to Deacon Gallant last time, because Deacon Gallant couldn't be here. So, as a brief kind of catch up of where we got to, um, the last time the crew or our audience saw Deacon Gallant was when he was helping to unload their ship's cargo. They were on a routine resupply run to this colony. Um, and there were several juicy leads at the end of episode 1. Um, so, in the absence of Deacon Gallant's player last time, we suggested that Deacon Gallant had set off to pursue his own investigation around those leads. Uh, and we know, because we were here for session 2, for episode 2, that there was an undercover Ringgate Authority intelligence operative going under the order title of Parishioner Sata, and that it was who had provided a homing beacon to trigger the abortive missile attack on the colony, which the crew interfered with in session 1. She was also the one that disappeared Deacon Gallant, while she went off to try to kill Nestor and Dr. Rillisk. That didn't go well, and she's now dead. So, Deacon Gallant, the crew released you from a bolt hole where Sata had stashed you. Presumably, stashed you, kill Rillisk and Nestor, come back, kill you, then go looking for our fourth character, Jax. But they found you and released you. So, what I want you to do is to describe in a kind of montage flashback how you pursued your investigation, how it led you to Sata, and revealed her links to the Ringgit Authority, which is presumably why she then decided to take some extreme action by stashing you and attempting to kill the others.
Yes.
Does that seem a reasonable question to ask, Deacon?
I believe it does. I have two follow-up questions though before we get into that. The first is, should I roll first? Or
Yeah, the trouble is, unless you tell me how you do it, I won't know which stat to ask you to roll with.
okay, that's fair. Okay, so I'll tell you. What if
How?
I tell you what I want to do and then we'll roll, then we'll describe? Because I don't want to. It would be sad to describe something really cool and then just completely fail. Uh, so I think. Oh, and then I just had one second question that I had meant to email before that I forgot to. I would love if when you have a moment to just get like a list of what the like. So we know parishioner is below deacon, and we know that dean is above deacon. But like, what does our list look like?
I think that above the dean is a bishop.
Is a bishop. Yeah, so above dean is bishop, and then there's probably like one more role, and that's it. Sounds good?
Archbishop, primate.
Yeah. And then how many would you say are below deacon?
I think there's probably some kind of bureaucratic position below deacon, and then there's parishioner. I
Okay,
don't
so
I don't really want to put deacon too far up
no,
the
that's
order
totally
ladder.
valid. I just wanted to try and understand that a little bit better before I did that. So yeah. So I think what Deacon did, at least to start, is what Deacon does. He was helping out with the unboxing, and as he was doing so, he was talking with the other believers of Gilead, and he was, just sort of checking in. And as a deacon, he kind of knows what responsibilities a parishioner should have because he's been a parishioner. And I think upon starting to having real conversations with people around him, has seen that Sarta has been maybe not as fully involved in some of her parishioners, things that someone else might overlook. But as a very devout individual, Deacon Gallant realizes that something's not right here. And so he, of course, sincerely goes to talk to parishioner Sarta because he wants to believe the best in her. And I think it unfolds from there.
Well, I've got an option for you then.
Yeah.
That's either rolling with sincere,
Hmm.
that kind of sincere approach to find out what's up with Sata, or it's shady, where you've got suspicions about Sata and you're just staying on the down low while you try to get some information out of Sata. So which
I'm
way do you want to go?
I'm gonna go sincere because I think this is Deacon Gallant, like genuinely, like I think he wants to go and he had God bless this negative one sharp man. He didn't put the pieces together that she was like a Ringgate agent until she probably told him. Like, he just thought she was wavering in her faith and there was something wrong and he needed to shepherd her. And then when he actually meets up with her, she's like, "Oh, you've discovered my da 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 da," da," and he's like, "Oh, that's naughty, bad."
Yeah, and this is my ceramic gun.
Yeah. Like
Okay,
yeah,
that's
he's
lovely.
negative one sharp. He is not a bright man in that sense.
Well, then let's have you roll two dice plus sincere.
All right. Do I need to touch those D10s or is that for something else?
Oh, those D10s are for something else. Yeah, that was just me messing with percentages. Thought I
Okay.
deleted them.
All good, just checking. Ooh. Ooh, three, four, five.
Oh my. Okay. Six minus. Your backstory interfered. Mark your backstory XP trigger and pick one. So, how did your backstory interfere? I mean, I could think of some threads here to pull on, but
Oh, please do. I would love to hear what you have to say, GM. I mean, I have
well,
ideas. I like yours better.
well, there is a sense in which you naively approach Sata just to see if you can help.
Yeah, 100%.
And your very belief in the order means it's inconceivable to you that there are, undercover agents inside the order. I mean, that would be just madness. So I
Yes.
think that's where your backstory interferes. I think it is your complete faith in the order and its security and the lack of any conception that anybody could be working undercover in it.
Yeah, how could you get to parishioner and not be a true believer?
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, what did it just so that doesn't cross your mind. So when she puts a gun to the back of your head and leads you out to this kind of storage container on the away in a corner of the colony, there is a kind of sense of confusion. But it does mean that you could mark an XP, a full XP, down on
Ooh.
row 50, whatever it is.
Row 50. Oh, it's higher up. Okay, so yeah, so I get to, because I got two of those, so now I can mark one of those. I feel like I'm looking in the wrong place. Where
Okay,
is.
it's down on row 60 in round figures.
Okay, so
There are six boxes for the total, and you're going to mark one of those six. You've already got two, so you're going to have three now.
okay, so now I have three. Okay.
Yeah. Um, and I think that the rest of of that love letter says, and pick one. Mark a new debt to the faction or erase a favor the faction owed you. Well, the RGA doesn't owe you
Yeah, damn thing.
a debt, a favor. So it's going to be a debt. And I think we'll play that as while she kind of ties you to a chair or holds a gun over you in that little storage container, you see that she kind of opens up some kind of communication device and she broadcasts to the RGA that there's trouble on her mission, uh, and somebody called Gallant is being a problem, but she's decided that she's going to eliminate the rest of the crew and then come back and deal with Gallant. So she is expecting to be back undercover within a day or two. And I think that probably explains why there's a possibility that the RGA may come to you with some concerns.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, I think it would be very poor for them to find out that I, heard all of this and yeah.
yeah. Okay. So there's the complication here is that the RGA now may have an interest in Deacon Gallant or want to leverage, hold something over Gallant. So so that's our love letter dealt with. I do want to check in with Nestor and Dr. Rillisk about their relationship to the factions, because we now have about 5 or 6 factions in play, some of which they created, one of which I've created. And so you both of you can distribute 3 debts across up to 3 different factions and 1 favor with a different faction. So, any thought, Dr. Rillisk?
Uh, Debts are things that I owe them,
Yes.
or
Yeah, that they can call in.
oh, they can call it. Because I feel like probably have like lots of debts with the maintenance guild in terms of they want lots of things from me, but I don't want to do any of them. So
Well,
with that,
exactly. And if you give them debts over you, then that offers me the chance to leverage that out of you.
okay.
So you might want to stay clear of the maintenance guild, and unless that's what you're looking for.
No, I'll put -2 in the maintenance guild. 2 debts to the maintenance guild because it was supposed to be a job for life,
Okay,
and I ran away from them.
you
Um,
did, and they are not pleased.
they're not pleased at all. And um, who was the Council of the Forsaken again?
The Council of Forsaken are the ones that I created in the downtime since last time, which is they're a planetary Iron Age society crawling back from barbarism after
Okay,
the fall of the Ring Gates. So and they only have some authority in the bits of that planet that are actually livable.
okay. So I have to remind myself who these factions are at the moment. In the cluster, we have the Snag family, who is the crime family. We have the Horizon, who are the smugglers and fixers. With the Maintenance Guild, who are the supposedly noble scientist engineers of the cluster.
Yeah, how
The
noble remains to be seen. Certainly dedicated to trying to
I
reactivate
mean
an ancient artifact.
that's their reputation.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
they are widely visible and admired.
Yes.
Yes. The Unified Mind, who are healers and mystics. Galiel's Aid and Order, who we've just dealt with. The Ringgate Authority and the Council. I'm going to take one with a favor. So 1 favor, was it?
Yeah.
Well, just the 1 favor. I will take a favor with the Ringgate Authority because I think I've worked on their stuff, and I will take another. It's 3 debts, right?
Yeah.
So I've got -2 with the Maintenance Guild. I will take a -1 with the Unified Mind, who I think helped patch me back up again when I made my escape from the Maintenance Guild.
Fair enough. What about Nesta? Where do you want to put some debts and a favor?
I think I owe the snack family because, I'm from there. They will have something to hold over me. I also think I owe the maintenance guild for repairing something that I messed up or had somebody messed up for me, probably more likely, or And the unified mind, they're healers. I'm a soldier. What need I say? And I think my favor will go to the Council of the Forsaken. because I mean I have been with these mercs and then I ran off, but maybe I ran off to where the void, that's where they are, right? And helped them with some issues that they had that
Fine.
needed a less than subtle touch, let's say.
Yeah, I've just realized that I in that drop down I've had pluses and minuses. I've used the same one for both. Um, I don't think it matters because debts don't need to be plus or minus, they're just debts. In fact, I cannot now remember why I put plus and minus on them. So don't worry about that. I can see where there are debts and where there are pluses. We'll
Yeah. Okay.
we'll be fine.
Okay.
So travel to the ring gate. Looks a bit like this behind me. You travel from Galliel's planting to the void system. Now, the ring gates are usually kind of somewhere above the sun's pole. They're above the plane of the ecliptic. So they're often quite a long way from anywhere. In the case of the void system, no one's really very interested in the planet. You know, it's a backwater. They have nothing to trade worth having. Occasionally, they hire people in for barter to clear up incidents, and that might be perhaps Nestor why you spent maybe some time there with your mercenary company.
And maybe I didn't spend it with the mercenary company, but while I was lying low when I was on the run from them,
Fair
when I
enough.
had left them.
Fair enough. But you did something, maybe a bit of
Yeah.
enforcing.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah. Sure. Maybe hunting some weird animals or something that made a mess.
Well, the
Something
Council
like
of the
that.
Forsaken is kind of obsessed with maintaining its own power.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's more likely to be internal rebels or dissidents. Not that I think dissident is a description that they would recognize. Traitors.
Yeah. Maybe terrorists or something.
Maybe. And each of these ring gates has a ring gate authority station, a ring station, which acts as refueling point, resupply point, rest and relaxation. And the one in Void is really big, because while the planet is of no interest, the system is quite a thoroughfare. It's quite a crossroads. There are a number of connections from this ring gate to other systems. So a lot of traffic comes through here from different places and to different places. And so what I think we will see as you emerge from the ring gate is tethered to one of these ring structures, a rotating, provide some gravity, a rotating ring gate station with, I would guess, 1,000 or more people aboard it at any one time. And that is where you'll need to go to refuel and resupply. And it's also where you can go to have a bit of shore leave and consider your downtime. Does anybody have any questions at this point? Or does that seem like a reasonable bit of hard framing?
That seems like a reasonable bit of hard framing. Can we, just for Deacon Gallant, so the mystery ship, we traced its passage through to here to the system, didn't we?
We did.
And we believe that this RGA agent was sending messages to this ship, so it's all connected.
Yes.
So we took a job from Dean Archibald. Well, kind of persuaded him to pay us to do what we wanted to do anyways, which was follow the mystery ship and find out why they were trying to destroy the colony. Because seems as though, you know, they took a shot at possibly my character, possibly just us generally. And they've obviously got some plans that could be related to us, but it seems as though the missile strike is probably more related to the colony rather than others, right? Because like it wasn't aimed at our ship, it was aimed at the colony. So yeah, we got paid on a secret mission from Dean Archibald that should, if we fulfill it, pay out quite handsomely.
It should. I mean, I popped something on the bottom of the love letter. It says, NB, the Fortitude is now working discreetly for Dean Archibald, who doesn't want news of events here to reach his bishop until he has something to demonstrate his initiative and success. So the Fortitude is pursuing the mystery ship through the ring gate to Void. And this should pay very handsomely. I mean, quite how he's going to explain that in his, re-education colony accounts remains to be seen. But yeah, this could earn you 6 wealth if this goes well.
Oh, okay, wow.
If you successfully answer his question, which is who launched a missile at us and why?
So we know the who is the RGA. We're looking for the why right now.
Well, I think yes, I think it's more the why. You are fairly confident that RGA intelligence were involved. Whether that is an RGA proxy, an RGA ship, we don't know.
Okay.
It seems to me you will have to track down the exactly who in order to find out the exactly why.
Okay, that sounds perfect. And did I have any other conversation at all, like, or did the dean say anything to me, or no?
No, I think that no, I don't think so. I don't think so
Okay.
because we'd have to retcon a conversation that the others had with him conceivably. So
Okay.
so no, let's just leave it at that.
Perfect.
So yeah, you come out after 2 weeks in the kind of null space between ring gates. It's an unpleasant experience. And so it's something of a relief to get out the other side and dock at the Ringgate station to refuel and resupply, and maybe to have a little bit of relaxation. Now,
Question: when you say it was unpleasant, why was it unpleasant? Just because the ship is crammed, or is the void humming at us, or
well, I tell you what. Once we get into the downtime moves,
okay,
you might well have a chance to explain that.
okay,
To say how, because it's not a nice experience.
okay.
So you earned a whole 1 wealth for the supply run, which I'm now going to delete to pay for your resupply and refueling. So you need to start making more than 1. But this will do you until the next time you travel through a ring gate and appear at an RGA station. So you don't have to worry about anything in system, unless you just spend the rest of your time here. So yeah, check out the downtime tab. And what it says is when you exit a ring gate, fix, refresh, and/or heal as described in the crew's current wealth. So you are currently scraping by, which gives you an option to fix 1 piece of equipment while you were in the between gates, to refresh, which is to clear all stress, or to heal 1 wound. Now, I think there's some equipment out there that's stressed, and I think Nestor and Rillis took a bit of a battering at one point when fighting it out with Sata. So you can clear either all your stress, leave the stress where it is and clear a wound, or fix 1 piece of equipment.
I'll be fixing equipment as the
Fine.
engineer.
Fine. So what that means is you can, I should explain, there is a grey tick box next to each piece of gear, which is for me to keep track of which ones you've got with you. Because typically, you may accumulate more gear. You start with 3, could get to 4. And then the red one is an indication of whether it needs fixing.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think that, Dr. Rillisk, your engineering kit took a bit of a battering. Yeah?
It did. As did Nestor's power armor.
Exactly so.
Yeah, but I can only fix 1 thing, right?
You can.
Well, Nestor, listen, I would love to fix your armor. Trust me. I know that I owe you. I know that that, and I point at the smolder, at the crack in the casing, right where the bullet went in. Could have easily been this, and I point at my chest. And I hold up my engineering kit and it, maybe the powered screwdriver lets out a spark and an electric arc out of it, and I go, but I can't fix it until I fix these. I can't. I need my tools to work for me to fix the armor with the tools.
Yeah,
Oh,
fine, I
but
guess.
I'm more than happy and willing, of course, if so I have nothing that I have to touch. So I think Deacon Gallant seeing this is like you were endangered by my position. It would be my honor, of course, to help facilitate the fixing of your armor.
When it says plus sense, that means plus sharp, right?
Yes, it does.
Okay. And in which case, I mean, I'm not sharper than you. I'm not, but I'll say, look, this is my armor. I know how to fix this. It's fine.
Oh,
Thank you. Thanks
okay.
for offering, though,
Of
Deacon.
course.
It's appreciated.
Rilis looks dubiously at the idea of either of you fixing such a high-tech
Yep.
piece of equipment. And
We're
just goes,
scraping by. I roll with advantage, so.
oh, okay. Yeah, nice. Oh, yes, yes, yeah, of course. Yeah, well, you get to prove her wrong then, don't you?
Yeah. So,
Which is even better.
but that is entirely separate from any downtime roll, right? That just happens during your trip through the ring gate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So we don't have
there's
we
no
don't
roll
have
for
to
that.
roll
That's
this.
that's a straight over tick and move on. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, so do
Okay.
you want to get rid of one of your stress and I'll
Oh.
have spent 2 weeks fiddling with your armor and somehow made it work?
Okay, that's fair. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's do that then.
Okay.
Thank you.
Then, when you arrive at your destination
I
settlement,
will be a backseat repair person. Like,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, maybe
looking
together
over the
we can.
shoulder.
Yeah, like if it makes that sound, that's not good. Just saying, it's not supposed to make that sound.
A conceit is that there's only certain gear you can use, but it is your gear, you can repair it. Yeah, so you don't need to worry about skills or anything else for just that basic repair.
Yeah,
Then
that's
it
fine.
says, when you arrive at a settlement, each crew member makes a downtime move while keeping their downtime modifier in mind. Now you'll see on your character sheet, there is down on row 42, there's an aboard ship downtime modifier and a at a settlement modifier. Yeah. So you might want to check those out before you make a decision about what you want to do, because either you frame a flashback scene during the 2 weeks spent aboard the ship between ring gates and choose one of those 4 moves, or you frame a scene illustrating how you spent your shore leave at the settlement and choose one of those 4 moves.
Okay.
Yeah.
My
So
move is I get on a 7+
you get an
aboard
extra
ship. I get
choice.
an extra one, so I would think it would make sense for me to do it on the ship because then I get to maybe perhaps make 2 moves.
Fair enough.
The one that jumps out at me immediately is review the politics, I think.
I just need to check in on that. I don't think it means. You add an option to your onboard. You don't get. Is that not how it's phrased?
On a 7+, you can choose another
another.
downtime move.
No. Sorry, I'm looking at Gallant. Right? No, you're quite right. You get an extra one, so you can do that when aboard, and then you'll have another downtime move.
If I get 7+, yeah.
Yes. You're certainly got a shipboard one. Nestor, Gallant, are you inclined to one of the shipboard ones? Because I'd like to get them out of the way as flashbacks, and then we'll do the settlement ones.
And I'm imagining the settlement that we're talking about is going to be the ring gate
Yes,
station, right? Because no one goes down to Void 3 if they can avoid it.
exactly so. There's nothing there.
I'm going to the settlement to do my thing.
So the ring gate, on the ring gate station is what you're talking about. Yeah? Yeah, fine. So Rilisk is going to do his her aboard ship. Deacon, are you thinking of aboard ship, or are you thinking of waiting till you get to the ring gate station?
So I have a question because I'm wondering if because I'm interested in finding out information and I'm wondering if being a fixer uh is an approach to that, or is this like a wholly separate thing as downtime?
A
Like,
wholly separate thing. There is just straight. You may have an opportunity once downtime is done to do
okay.
some work
So
on the
then
streets or whatever.
I think I'm on the ship and I think I'm reviewing the politics.
Okay, so let's start with Rilisk. What do you want to? How do we see you spending your time? review politics, fix something, work on a project, or share a moment of honesty.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose what would working fix, refresh, or heal? Neither of those needs to be done. I don't think I've got any. I've got one stress. That's fine. So I think it would be reviewing the politics for me as well. And I think it is at the sensor board with a data tablet and like marking different ships and comms flows and tags and IDs, and it's this really like neatly ordered, like everything is like metadata tagged up, and everything has expanding clouds and hierarchies, and it's all of this like like Minority Report style, like user design that is probably like quite alien to most people in the cluster.
Okay.
So
And it says roll plus shady.
roll for my party. I have a 0 in shady. That's a 7.
That's okay then. 7 plus. Tell the GM which faction you're interested in, and they will provide you with something specific, relevant, and interesting in response, and might even answer a follow-up question.
I mean, the obvious one that leaps out at me is Ringate Authority. The mystery ship's biggest link currently is to Ringate Intelligence, and Ringate Authority own this hub here. So, I suppose that's what I'm interested in. And the things that I'm interested in is this mystery ship, their plans, their movement, what brings them to Void in particular, that kind of thing.
Fine. I guess that it is a surprise to you that because the Ringate Authority is widely respected, right? They keep this cluster running. They provide the maintenance to the ring gates. They open the ring gates. There's almost a cultural reverence for the work of the Ringate Authority. So the idea that they should be involved in trying to obliterate a colony strikes you as very odd. But if we look at what their current aims are, contain and rival. I think when you begin to look at details of pirate attacks, or you begin to see a pattern that maybe the Ringate Authority is seeking to keep down one or more other systems by interfering in those other systems. So it's not an entirely beneficent organization. Does that feel like a safe start?
I think that feels like a safe start. I feel like I'd look with my eye and frowning down at my results, and throwing up some of the how they've different things have hit Galliel's order and aid in different areas, and be like, now obviously this isn't this is all inference, this is just a theory, and I would not have the sufficient data to prove it, but my hypothesis is that it looks as though Galliel's order is getting rather too big for Ringate's boots, and they're stepping down on them, which is quite a breach of the Ringate Authority's authority. I thought they're supposed to facilitate travel between the cluster, supposed to connect all of us, and instead they're manipulating it to make sure that your religious group doesn't get too far. I think that's quite disturbing, really.
Gallant, I just want to kind of tie that into something, because when we talked about the local kind of tech level for Galliel's plantings, we said fissions, computer control, satellites, inner system exploration. Budding 1 and Budding 2 are your first 2 colonization efforts.
Okay.
And when Rilis shares with you the pattern of activity, there have been, one of the reasons you got the job shipping that resupply cargo is that with hindsight, you can see some interference in those supply runs to those colonies.
Yes, there had been some troubling concern. I figured it was just malcontents or pirates or something of the sort, those who were suffering because they didn't have belief, and or were suffering because of lack of supplies, and so things that we meant to send to Budding 2 didn't make it to Budding 2, but it sounds like from Dr. Rillis, from your information, that might not have been the case, unfortunately.
I know. I mean, this is quite something. If the Ringgate's determined to keep societies restricted so that they maintain a sole monopoly of intersystem travel and transport and trade, well, then, I can only think of one secret that would be worse, frankly.
What's that?
Oh, did I say something?
You did, yes.
Oh, look at this data here. Yes.
Yeah, not sharp. I am immediately distracted. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's lovely. So shall we go to Deacon Gallant, who was keen on a shipboard flashback as well, I think. Now,
Yes.
I don't know if that influences your choice of the kind of onboard downtime moves. I don't know. Make your pick.
So I think it does, but I'm wondering if this sort of boosts my efforts, like having this information. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
because I
go
want to do the same thing, but now
build on it.
yeah, I want to build on it. I want to find out more because we don't, this is what we're trying to figure out.
So can I take this to be review the politics and focus on the RGA and roll with Shady?
I think so, yeah.
Go ahead.
Now, because I wouldn't be me if I didn't ask, because my predecessor had a successful roll beforehand, can I gain advantage?
Sadly not.
Okay. Oh, well, I did not need it. That is a 9. Well, I mean, I could have used a +1, but that's still a 9.
That's a 9. Well, it does matter because I will go on to the 7 to 9s on lower down this page in a minute. I
Yeah.
just would like to have some clear idea of where we're going with this. So, is that a 10?
No, it's a 7 to 9 because I don't get any assistance from the.
Okay. So on 7 plus, you're interested in the RGA. Do you want to ask me a question that kind of builds on where we got with Rilisc's research?
Yeah, why specifically? And let me know if you don't think this is a good question, let me know. Like, why is it specifically Galliel's aid and order that they are after? Like, there are other systems that are doing things and growing. Why is it this one that they are so sort of intent on breaking down?
I think that it's related to the current kind of socioeconomic position. Were Galliel's aid and order able to shift from exploration of the inner system to colonization and exploitation of the inner system? That would be a significant boost to their economy. And you know that's the word within the order. The reason those colonies have been set up is to begin to exploit the resources of the system.
Which, of course, Deacon Gallant thinks is just poor wording.
And so it does feel like you're a relatively advanced society in terms of your technology. Your economy is holding you back. It just about balances out the economy. And you're also an authoritarian regime. So I mean, that's not the way you see it, but you could imagine an outsider conceivably believing that it was risky
Some
for,
lost lamb.
an authoritarian regime with the economic resources to expand further. because currently the influence of the order is just to linked systems.
Mm-hmm.
Might the RGA be slightly concerned if churches opened up across the cluster?
Yeah, Realist probably says something like massively, inappropriate, and is like, I mean, of course, no one would really want a group of religious fanatics spreading out across the cluster, but the RGA is not supposed. I mean, a dedicated organization such as yourself would obviously challenge the Ringate Authority.
Of course, we would make life easier for so many people who are suffering out there, and that maybe that's not something the Ringate, I can't imagine, but maybe that's something the Ringate Authority doesn't want, for us to assist those who are still struggling.
Yes, I certainly observed the parishioners of Budding 3. Their suffering was much alleviated. Yes, yes.
And I would tie you back, Deacon, to what you chose as the current focus for the order, which is extend influence.
Mm-hmm.
So with perhaps intelligence on that, the Ringate Authority appears to be making a particular effort to restrict that extension of influence.
Mm-hmm.
Does that seem like interesting setting creation?
Um,
Or do you have a
I
follow-up
think
question?
I kind of would like a follow-up question because I feel like we did build upon what Dr. Rillis had, but it was still somewhat similar. So
Okay.
I think a follow-up question that I would like is is a name of someone to look into, like that is tied to this information that we found that could be like the start of an assessment or a look of who we're looking into.
Um,
Maybe we got a
yeah,
file off of parishioner Sarda or something who she was corresponding with.
yes. That's why I wanted that percentile dice. Let me just roll some percentile dice because sometimes it's nice to. So reroll those selected. 85, 58. 85. Yeah, I think that we talked about you overheard Sata sending a message to
Yes.
up the line. I think you got a name, or probably a work name. Uh,
Yeah.
Work name is Mantis.
Okay.
Yeah. So clearly Mantis was her senior, was
Hmm.
running her. And were you to look into Mantis, you might then begin to find threads to pull on. Does that seem
I think
interesting?
so. I do have a question though, because I had not gotten there yet, and I am not familiar with the systems that this game is based upon. But I have checked every single one of my stats.
Ah, right. Then clear them all and give yourself an XP. A full XP, one of the 6 that you have to accumulate for an improvement.
Okay.
Yeah?
What
So,
happens when we fill out all 6 of these boxes?
You erase them and you give yourself an XP down on 66, row 60.
so does it matter which box that I tick, or
No, the idea of the solid line between the end of session XP and total XP is that total XP is just what you need to accumulate across time.
Yeah, but what happens
okay?
when I accumulate all the
All
XP?
6, then you cash them
Yes.
in and get an improvement.
Nice. Okay, thank
Yeah.
you.
So you are
Okay.
aiming to fill that little total column down on row
Mhm.
60.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
And you do
Perfect.
that 2 ways. One, end of session, up to 2 end of session XP. And then every time you fill all your stat boxes, you clear them and you get another one. Does that make sense?
Oh, yes.
Good, good,
Wonderful.
good.
Okay, I think that covers Deacon Gallant. Of course, Deacon Gallant would share. Um, Dr. Rillisk, when I was there, while the unfortunate soul was explaining her plans to whatever malicious entity that she was working for in this moment, uh, she did speak to a code name Mantis. I think with what we know, I think Mantis might be who we are first looking for.
Well, Mantis may be who the ship works for as well.
Exactly.
I suppose that gives us gives us somewhere to start as I peer out through the viewport at the big structure of the Ringgate authority station. Uh, better
Thank
than
you.
simply going in and asking who shot some missiles.
Yeah, exactly. And thank you. And like he leans in and kind of like puts a hand over your hand for where you're like doing data stuff, like when you're touching a pad, just and I mean to speak to Nestor as well, but thank you so much for coming for me and pursuing this. Because I don't think he entirely knows that like you're getting paid a shit ton and pursuing this in Kaliel's name. I know you are not yet a believer, but you still pursue such wondrous and right forward things.
And
It
she
gives me hope.
carefully extracts a hand from beneath Deacon Gallant's and rubs it slightly on her clothes and goes, "Yes, yes, of course, Deacon. Well, you're a member of the crew, and the crew sticks together, and of course, what's important to you is important to all of us in Galiel's name," she says.
Oh, you just get the biggest, like, and he's a handsome guy. You just get this big, warming smile that if you were not maybe as smart as you are, uh, would lull you into a sense of security.
Oh yeah, yeah. But Dr. Rilisk is a paranoid fugitive
Yeah, you
from
are a
a
plus two
science.
sharp, and like, and
Yeah.
you maybe let me know if this is going too far. You maybe realize that he's not aware that his smile and his talk is not genuine, but
Mm.
like it's genuine to him, but you realize like this is authoritarian coding that has been taught to someone to he's an unwitting pawn, you know?
Yes, yeah. I think after you leave, she goes, quite fascinating how they get if you get them young, the things you can do.
Now you got a 7 to 9 on that, didn't you, Relisk?
I did, yeah.
You did. On a 7 to 9, there's a range of complications I can throw at you, and I think the one I want to put your way is that when Gallant comes back to share with you the way that his research has gone and reveal, and oh yeah, Mantis. There was that word, that name Mantis that I picked up. Um, the maintenance, um, the maintenance guild have an internal security apparatus. Uh, Mantis, which people often shorten to Mantis.
Mm,
Strange coincidence,
yeah, it must be a coincidence. It must be.
mustn't it? Mustn't it?
Yes, yeah. We all know of the ancient Earth legends of those deadly beasts that were 20 foot tall and ripped people limb from limb.
And to be honest, I think there's enough of a faction in for a 7 to 9 result for Gallant. I think there's enough of a backstory complication here around. This is all about Galliel's planting to an extent.
Yes.
Um, so the other thing I want to ask each of you, I want to start with Nestor. Nestor, what is it about time between the ring gates that makes it such a relief to get out the other side after 2 weeks in there? Is it just the cramped quarters, or is there more to it than that?
I think it's the quality of the air. We're not in a good shape, so the air is pretty not great, I guess. Especially if you try to do strenuous exercises to keep up with a certain level of competency and your physical skills. So yeah, and also at least to Nestor, this is all a bit modern, right? This all hums, just at this weird little pitch that they're not super used to, and everything is so shiny, and they're kind of scared to break something, I guess, or make a
Um,
mess of things. So they're really happy to get off the ship and be somewhere where it's a little less shiny, which probably is not the station we're going to, but yeah,
and of course, for the rest of you, it doesn't appear at all shiny. It's just the rust is contained. Um, Rillisk, what about you? What do you find unpleasant about Ringgate travel?
Other than all the small things I have to fix because Nestor's accidentally broken them. Uh, they're not meant to be open with such force. It's a twist that way, not a pull that way.
And it opens when I apply force,
Yes, but
so
it doesn't shut again.
why would I want it to shut again? I want it to be open.
Yes, yes, of course. I think for Realisk in particular, it's you're stuck once you've entered Ringate travel. There's no turning back around until you're out the other side. You've got to make it those 2 weeks essentially locked into your ship, your systems, and I know more than most how fragile these things really are, and it makes me very aware of them.
So less about claustrophobia, more about this is such a delicate little bubble of life.
Yes, yeah, and it's easy to take for granted when you don't know how it works and just how on the edge it really is,
Okay. Dean Gallant, what makes it unpleasant for you?
I think it's the sort of lack of connection. It sounds like neither Rilisk or Nestor really like obviously we're a team, but but God bless Deacon, he's just a sycophant. And like, that's what he cares about and what he wants to talk to about and his plans and his thoughts. And he cannot get probably good conversation with either Nestor or Dr. Rilisk, who at this point are probably like, yeah, we know the spiel, and so I think he feels a longing for a connection and feels very lonely.
Fine. Is that only in the Ringate, or is that just full stop?
Um, I think maybe it's been somewhat full stop since he took his position as deacon and started traveling. Um, and he was really excited to be on Budding to have that connection, and then everything went wrong.
Yeah, fine.
I mean, you can talk to Nestor, but he's not very religious or anything. He'll just
Yeah,
nod
I feel like it's
and
talking
smile.
to a yeah, you nod and smile, but it's clear, even for someone who is not as bright as Deacon Gallant, that you are not listening. You are glazing over as he is talking, and I imagine that at best, and let me know if this is incorrect, Will, Dr. Rillisk is placating or just,
Being
like,
polite.
yeah, being polite, like almost as
Oh,
if treating
yeah.
him like a small child, like, oh, that's lovely, like, like, and he's he's not the sharpest tool in the shed, but he's not a complete idiot. Uh, and so he's realized that with you two at least that it's all superficial, which breaks his heart.
Oh, oh.
And at least when he was part of a chapter of the Order, based in a chapter, there was a
Yeah.
sense in which, you there was some commonality.
There
Yeah,
was some
fine.
commonality, there was this unity, there was this shared goals and beliefs. And being a deacon is a bit lonelier than he expected. He thought he'd be giving this information out to people and gaining new followers, and that people would be so open. Because why wouldn't they be so open to the such advantageous and wonderful meaning in their lives? And it's a lot harder than he
Yeah, I
thought.
think you realize that Nestor doesn't even understand that sense of community you're longing for because he's never had that. Not with his
Yeah.
people, not with the mercs. That's just very alien
Yeah,
to
and I think
him.
that almost hurts Gallant even more is that you don't have this, and any attempts that he has been making to provide this to you, just you glaze over.
I'm maybe not, yeah, I don't understand what you're saying. As well as maybe I'm not like not the sharpest tool in the shed, but Nestor is terribly uneducated and has no
Oh
real
yeah.
interest in education at all beyond what's immediate use to him.
Which
Hmm.
is fixing his power armor and reloading that
Yeah,
gun.
yeah,
Um,
Yep.
and training his physical abilities. That's also important, right?
Now I'm going to call a commercial break in a minute, but I'd
Oh.
quite like to know from Nestor and Dr. Rillisk which of the settlement downtime moves they are interested in.
Oh, can I make it as a settlement downtime move? I thought it would have to be a ship time.
No. Yeah, it's a
Perfect.
downtime move.
Perfect.
So Nestor, what are you
I
interested
want
in
to put
pursuing?
my ear to the ground because we have some information we can follow up on, right?
Yep.
That the others said were pertinent. So I think I'll try to put my ear to the ground, talk to people, maybe either about
Well,
Mantis or about the ship.
don't describe it too much because
Okay,
we'll come back and
sorry.
do it properly in about
Yep.
10 minutes.
Okay.
Renisk, which one of those moves interest you?
Um, if Nestor's put your ear to the ground goes badly, it'll be put your ear to the ground as well, because I think that's what we need mechanic, like
Yeah,
as a group. But
Yeah.
if it goes well, then I will find a friendly face to help us with whatever we discover in put your ear to the ground.
Fair enough. Okay. Let's take a pause now and come back at 10 past the hour. I will see you.
Okay.
So we return from our first commercial break to find the crew on the Void Ringgate station. I've added the Void Ringate station to the Faces and Places tab. Nestor, you expressed an interest in putting your ear to the ground.
Yeah.
Now, you might want to check out what your downtime modifier says about...
I have.
Go on. What does it say?
It says roll with advantage if you find a way to immerse yourself in opportunities unknown during your upbringing.
Yeah, that harsh upbringing was pretty narrow in the crash, wasn't it?
Right, yeah. I mean, we didn't have we didn't have bars or anything like that. I mean, they were there, but they were not for kids. Kids were supposed to work on growing up, right? And those bars were basically just places where you could get drunk and hook up with somebody. That was not quite appropriate for kids. Even the crush master recognized this. So yeah, so
go on.
So
Frame
Nestor
the
is
scene for me.
Yeah, Nestor is going out there and he's really trying to be like, yeah, this is a place, right? It's a place like any other. It's kind of shiny. That's nothing, right? Trying to be, what's the word? Jaded, appear jaded, and not stare at everything with wide eyes like, what's this do? He's not doing that, but still, he is kind of a little overwhelmed, but he will find a bar. He knows bars, obviously, from his military service, with the mercs at least. But these bars are not bars, they're restaurants and coffee shops. I think you'll find a coffee shop, which sounds kind of wondrous because you don't even get drunk. You just hang out and enjoy the food and the drink, which is weird, but it's also fine. And you can get to talking to people because he doesn't actually know how to do any of this. So he's trying to copy people, and if somebody seems friendly enough, they will then chat them up and ask them about all. Probably not go after this Mantis dude, but go after the ship, because he will talk to them about ships and the ships he's seen because he can talk about ships, right? That's not weird or anything, and he won't show his ass too badly. He will, and I don't think he's all that aware of that, but talking about ships, and so he looking for the mystery ship. He saw it right from.
You've got some the Fortitude has some records that allowed you to kind of picture it as in Faces and Places.
Yeah. Okay.
And so he's looking for something. He's not looking for a rough bar. He's looking for a calm kind of coffee shop.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, rough bars. He's been to rough bars, and probably these rough bars will even have things that he doesn't know. But I think the coffee shop calls to him because getting drunk is kind of no fun if you're as paranoid as he is, because if you're drunk, you lose kind of control. And in a situation like that wouldn't be a good thing. So, but the coffee shop, that is a novelty. And they have cake, which is also, I mean, he's heard of cakes, obviously, but how many sorts of cakes are there? That's weird. Why do you need three sorts of cheesecake, for crying out loud?
All of the settlement downtime moves use the cred stat, which isn't a stat. It's a measure of your credibility and financial balance, really, personal financial. So you're going to roll +1. And what
Okay.
I'm imagining is you're in this coffee shop,
Mhm.
and maybe you're overhearing or interacting with some members of the RGA traffic control.
Or other travelers, anything. I try to find local, really. Yeah,
Well,
local's better.
you're interested in the ship, did you
Yeah.
say?
Yes. I'm
Okay.
looking for the ship.
So are you hoping the ship docked here?
I'm hoping that somebody knows the ship, actually,
Oh, I see. Oh, right.
and
Okay.
has heard of a ship like that and can tell me
Okay.
more about that ship.
Okay. Then let's have you roll +1 for cred
And I roll with advantage, right?
with advantage.
Cool. That means
You roll all 3 dice,
I
take the top 2.
okay. Wow, that's really bad. I've got a 5,
Ouch.
even with advantage.
Wow. So
Yeah.
on a 6 mine, the GM chooses one of the 7 to 9 choices, but
Mm-hmm.
raises the stakes or chooses one of these.
Mm-hmm.
I think something you'd prefer was forgotten isn't, or someone catches up with you. Because I think as you're sitting there
Mm-hmm.
trying to just, rather inexpertly perhaps, engage people in conversation,
Yeah.
someone sits down beside you and seems very keen to share a coffee with you.
Cool.
And they say something like, because I'm remembering last time when you got paid for the cargo run, the choice was that this word will get out about this.
Yeah,
And someone
right.
sits down next to you and says, so you're on the Fortitude?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes. Word to the wise. Don't interfere in what's above your pay grade. Okay? Anyway,
Yeah.
have to go. Bye now. Takes up his coffee and
Looks
leaves.
after him and says, I'm not wise. Nobody ever called me wise. So, okay.
So somebody knows what you've been doing,
Yeah.
and somebody is warning you off.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
And that's your abortive trip to the coffee shop
Yeah,
dealt with.
well, it's
Dr.
not that
Rillis.
abortive. I
No, no,
got to
no, no. You've
taste
discovered that the word is
several
out. Dr.
things
Rillisk,
didn't know
are
before.
you ear to the ground or finding a friendly face?
I suppose one can function as either, really, isn't it? Perhaps finding a friendly face would be.
What that will do will allow you to define as someone doing something here that you will have advantage to convince, compel in future. So it's a friend that will be here.
Friend. You know what? I'm going to put an ear to the ground as well.
Fine.
And I'm going to. What I'm interested specifically in finding out is that ship. Where did it go? Where is it? What is it? Any of its crew around here? What dealings did it have? You know, like that ship in particular is what we're looking for.
So I can't tempt you to cut loose and roll with advantage.
No, because I've only got one point of stress, right? So
Yeah, fair enough. So put your ear to the ground, roll plus cred, roll +1. 2 dice +1.
That's only a 6, so we both fail.
Oh my. Um, where are you? Where do we see you putting your ear to the ground?
I think I'm putting my ear to the ground. I think in the docking at the docks. I think I'm asking different, maintenance crew people, talking to different ships, people who are looking for work, that kind of thing. And I'm asking about that ship, and I'm bringing up like what the scans that we took of it. I'm casually dropping in. Oh yes, might need to reload some of its missiles. And I'm trying to give off the idea that I have a friend, a brother who worked on this ship, and I'm just trying to track him down. But yeah, I don't know the name, obviously.
Yeah, exactly. A potentially dangerous situation that I can raise the stakes on. I think that you are directed to a particular dock. And when you get there, you find there are a suspiciously dangerous bunch of dockers who, when you come in and ask your questions, you notice one of them has just closed the door you came through. What do you do?
Well, the door's locked.
Closed. Closed.
Closed. The door's closed. You know what? I say, good. Privacy. Wouldn't want anyone listening in, of course. So have you seen this ship? Do you know its name?
Is this convince compel, or I think you're taking a risk staying in this room?
You know what I'm even going to say is I'm going to say, very good. Now I'm here from Ringgate Intelligence.
Find an angle or convince compel with Shady?
I think convince compel with Shady. I'm going to basically turn it around and say these are very dangerous people. And anybody who crosses Ring Intelligence will obviously lose their berth on this station, right? Because it's the Ringgate Authority station. So, okay, so I have a 0 in Shady. I have also ticked all of my boxes with that last Shady roll. So
clear them all, give yourself an XP, and then roll 2d6 plus.
Yeah.
Or plus nothing.
Well, there's very little I can do to give myself any boost here.
There's no piece of equipment you can stress in order to roll with advantage. Well, look, let me introduce you to the final rule that I think I have to explain to you. You can spend cred. Right?
Okay.
If you look at basic moves, spend cred. If you spend 1 cred, say how spending that credit or credibility now or in a flashback grants you advantage on your current action.
Okay. Then yeah, I'm handing out creds to people. I guess that would give me advantage, right? These are people who I've greased the wheels as I went around there. So spend cred.
Let's have you roll 3 dice. Take the top 2 then. Cred refreshes the next time you come through a ring gate.
Oh.
2 6s and a 5.
Yeah.
The irony. Irony. So 10 plus, they'll even accept some personal risk. It looks like you've dispersed enough funding here to actually, this isn't a threat. This is an opportunity to sell you information.
Nice.
So what question did you have?
Well, currently we don't know anything about the ship other than it has missiles and it came this way, right? So, did this ship dock here? What's its name? Who are the crew? I'm asking every question because I have no information. How much information do they have back to me, I guess.
Yeah, fair enough. I just need to check a name. You're talking about the Whisper. Very bad rep. Very dangerous people. And the bastard who's in charge, Golvan, is the worst bastard of them all. Used to be a mercenary captain, but has turned to piracy. Or, well, actually, has turned to anything in the recent past. Does that seem like interesting information?
Golvan. What's a hideous name? That's certainly a name I've never heard before. Yes, I think that seems like plenty of information. I guess my only other question is, did they pass through here recently?
They did.
They did pass through here recently. Okay.
And in a moment, when you get back together, I'll ask you to tell me where you want them to have gone.
Awesome. Cool. Well, I will pay the man, and I will say, excellent. Ringgate Intelligence thanks you for your service, gentlemen. We always know we can count on the little people working here at the authority to keep their eyes open, but not a word, of course, not a word. Just to warn you, There may be other agents who claim to be Ring-8 intelligence, but I believe that they're connected to this conspiracy that Golvan is working for.
So tell them nothing.
Tell them nothing. Yes, yes. In fact, if they come and ask, be very careful because they have a habit of tying up loose ends.
Says the burly guy.
Yeah.
And then I think we'll cut back to the three of you in a discreet bar, which is to say, probably not next to the coffee shop where Nesta tried to make a contact, but probably nearer the docks.
Maybe a noodle stand?
A noodle stand.
Yeah.
Yes, we want a noodle stand. And it's a noodle stand which is playing to a particular genre. So it's neon lit and it has its own localized rainfall. Sorry, I was watching Secret Level last night. Yeah, it has to be dumplings or noodles. So Gallant and Nestor, what's your reaction when Rillis shares her information?
Have I heard of this mercenary guy? Because I
Yeah,
mean,
he used to be your mercenary captain.
Oh yeah, this guy. I actually I worked
Knew
with.
that name was familiar.
Yeah, I worked with him. Actually, he may not be my biggest fan though, because I kind of skedaddled when, well,
Yeah, I think what you wrote was, but
when
the
I
Merc
didn't.
leader Golvan might want a word about me
Yeah,
bailing.
yeah, might want to work with me about me with the power armor, no less. So, yeah.
Deacon Gallant, anything to contribute to
Does
the
this mean
conversation?
does this mean anything to him?
No, I think
Yeah,
honestly, um,
honestly, yeah.
his experience of the cluster at large is pretty narrow.
Yeah.
I mean, he did some good digging earlier on,
Yeah.
so he take credit for that. But yes, it appears now that you have a ship name, the leader of the pirates who, as far as you know, fired the missiles. So now you do know who. The
Yeah.
question
And so I
becomes
think
why.
Deacon Gallon's response is just to be like, "Oh, that's amazing, Dr. Ritz. Like, you've done wonderful work. Ah, Galil smiles upon us. Like, because like between that and what we were able to uncover together, and of course he's not, as a unit on the ship, he's not going to give himself just credit. On the ship before, I think we really have some key components here, and I think, well, I don't. Lying isn't great, but sometimes Galil will forgive us for our sins to do greater good."
I mean, I don't think Galileo smiled on us by making because this guy is really bad news,
Oh.
Deacon. This could really have not been worse, actually.
Oh, well, actually, well, no, this is a good opportunity. We're going to, in Galileo's name, remove someone or maybe even help them understand that there is better to do.
Uh,
Yes, I think we can help this Golvan with discover something better to do. And I'll look over at Nesta's heavily armed features and I'll say, Nesta could perhaps help with that.
I can
Perhaps some.
help him finding something better to do, but I doubt it'll have to do a lot with Galileo, honestly.
Well,
Oh, there's always the other side, right? That's where you meet Galileo. Yes, we'll just send him there quicker.
oh, true. I guess if he has much to atone for, the more time he has with Galileo, the
Do
better.
should I tell you some of the things he has to atone for? I
I
know
don't,
a
I
A
don't
couple.
long
need to know
list.
that. I don't need to know that information. It's not of my, if I'm not if you would like to me to help absolve him, but that does not seem to be the direction that you wish to head towards.
I mean, if I have sincere doubts about his willingness, I guess, to seek this absolve thing
Well, the
that you were
mind
talking
plays
about.
tricks on you, but the soul is always willing.
Well,
Okay, I have nothing.
metaphysics.
I look at Risk and say, I have nothing here.
Yes, it's often the way with these types. You can never get back to it. Once you get to faith, it just goes around again. You can never really beat it. But what we have learned is that the well, if Ring-8 intelligence is has contracted Golban services, then, well, they're willing to associate with some extreme, even beyond destroying the colony. A mercenary who is so rogue as to no longer work in the upstanding mercenary outfits of the cluster, and has instead turned to piracy and worth, then, well,
You have a very romantic view of what mercenaries do, right? I mean, that is pretty much staple.
Yes.
I mean, they don't usually call it piracy. They call it extracting a protection fee. But it's basically the same.
Yes, but what I mean is
horrified.
There's a proper way to do things, and there's an improper way to do things. And Golvan's reputation is clearly one who does things improperly. And Ringgate Intelligence could have no shortage of mercenary outfits it could employ above board, but instead it's choosing to use this Golvan type. So whoever Mantis is, they are willing to go to extreme ends to any end, it would seem. So we should be careful.
There's also some kind of deniability, right? Because he has not been affiliated with these ring types. So I think they can just say, whoa, things went really bad here. That was not what we intended. He is clearly a rogue actor, something like that.
Yes, I've heard of people in power in certain organizations contracting strange groups of ships to go and pursue their private interests secretively, so they have some form of deniability about the operation. And I look carefully at Deacon Galligan as I say that. But luckily, Galliel's order would never do such a thing. Without paying us, of course.
So, how do you pursue your investigation then?
Well, if we've got a heading that they went out on, I suppose it would be to follow the ship, right?
Well, I was going to ask you as players if you had a preference of where they'd headed. Do you want in system or to planet?
I think maybe I'd like in system to stay here for a bit.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, no, I meant further into the system, away from the ring gate to out into deep space in the system. Or down to Void 3.
So down to Void 3, the anarchic Iron Age place where you've got a favor owed to you by the Council of the Forsaken.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
So I think, Relisk, that the final piece of information you got from those dockers was a manifest that showed that they were taking trade goods, inverted commas, down to the planet. Though what in Galliel's name, they were expecting to get in barter for anything is beyond them. Yeah.
I'm just hoping they weren't looking for me because I was there. And maybe when I left, I took some things with me that weren't strictly been clear that they belong to me, right? And
what stuff is this stuff you took from the mercenary company?
Oh yeah, the power armor,
like that power armor,
and the rifle,
power
armor, and the rifle.
They don't grow on trees.
No.
Well, perhaps you can return some of it to them at high speeds.
Yeah, maybe some of the bullets in my rifle. But this is a mercenary group, just to be clear here. I'm a single guy and I'm good at what I do, but I can't take on an entire mercenary group, right? I mean, I might have some people there who might have sort of liked me, I guess.
Well, our contract is not to take out the Whisper. Our contract is to identify who is behind, and I think what we need to fulfill our contract with the Dean is to firmly establish the link between Ringgate Intelligence and the Whisper. Perhaps if we can plant a device upon his ship, hack into their comms, extract a confession from a member of his crew or himself, or discover what their operations are here if they're linked to it and document it. I think perhaps they need to be none the wiser about our presence. All things go according to plan, of course.
That sounds nice. Yeah, I mean, some of these guys he works with aren't the sharpest tool in the shed. he says unironically.
So setting off of the planet then. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
So we go to ship and wealth, and we check out the ship systems, which is when you are navigating to a named destination system, roll plus drive. So who's at the controls?
I can do that. I've done it the last time and we didn't
Yeah,
crash too
you're
badly.
exactly.
Yeah.
You're our risk taker. You're our
Yeah.
get out of the
Yep.
hole quickly. So
Yeah.
let's have you roll +2, please.
Roll +2. I can hopefully do that. Wow, no, I can't. It's a 4. Rolled snake eyes.
Okay.
Maybe I
so,
can get some help though. That would elevate it to a 7 and 9, right?
I'm inclined to go a different way on this occasion.
Okay.
Unless somebody's very keen to turn that into a mixed success, at the risk of it all going horribly wrong for everyone.
I mean, much as part of me is like, great, an incoming missile strike on the way down or something like that. But yeah, I think you can have some fun with a mixed success, Alan. I'm going to suggest that as we, if I mess around with the ship systems, trying to boost the drive power, increase the power that we're working with on the Fortitude as we enter the gravity well.
Well, let's see if you get as far as the gravity well first. So
yeah.
so let's have you roll a 2D plus. It sounds like finesse to me.
Yeah, okay. What's my finesse? +1?
Because you're trying to tweak some systems, aren't you?
Yeah, quickly rather than carefully.
Well, force or finesse. I'll offer you the option. Brute force a solution or
I got an 8.
8. So on an 8 to aid an ally. You suffer any cost attached to their original outcome, but they improve to a choice. So what I would think, now that's an interesting one, because I'm not sure I thought about aid an ally working on ship moves, but let's see if we can make it work. So that was going to be, you don't arrive and a deep space encounter must be resolved before you can use drive again. That is improved to either the ship arrives with 1 random damage due to wear and tear, or the crew will somehow find themselves at disadvantage at the start of the deep space encounter. I am going to force a deep space encounter on you because I'm interested to have one.
Cool.
But I'm going to make it. I'm not going to give you that disadvantage.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alan, one question: where do I find these driver ship moves?
Oh, sorry, it's on the ship and wealth tab.
Okay. So it's somewhere down here, right?
Yep.
Is it on the? Oh, it's on the drive thing, right?
Yeah.
When you're navigating. Okay, I found it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And let me see if I roll 2d6. Am I interested in what the dice tell me, or do I want to make a choice? 5 and 3. So that's a large asteroid, or 3 and 5, a ship. Oh, I think I'm quite interested in a ship.
Okay.
I think that you encounter a ship. Yeah. And I think that ship is, I'll roll 2d6, and that is 6 and 5 or 5 and 6. 5 and 6, cargo carrier. 6 and 5, cargo carrier. Yeah, I think it's a cargo carrier. And on 2d6, 2 and 5, wary, or 5 and 2, dissect. Yeah, I think you had a distress signal from a cargo carrier.
Yeah, there's a distress signal. If we ignore this, it'll go on our record and people will feel free to ignore our distress signal. So I think we should follow that, I guess.
We can't ignore a distress signal.
Well, someone's got to fix things.
Okay. And if they get frisky, I think this doesn't look very dangerous. I mean, hey, doctor, can you maybe look at this distress signal if it's fake? Because I know some unscrupulous types, I look at the deacon, who might use a fake distress signal to lure in helpful people to
Well, ships
take
or
advantage of them.
ships or phenomena appear on sensors at extreme range. When you investigate them using the ship's sensors, roll plus sensors, Doctor,
Okay,
which is +1.
that is a 12.
Ooh, look at that. Uh,
Ooh.
on 7+, you get a fix on the target's position. A GM will answer a question relating to a flaw or weakness, a cause or origin, its purpose or value, its expected behavior, its aggressive capability or current level of alert. And you have advantage when you make use of what you've learned.
Um, I suppose in this sense, it's using the sensors to confirm that they are legitimately in distress.
So cause or origin.
Yeah, that would be saying about right. Yeah.
Yeah. It is a distress signal. It is legitimate because they appear to be as you clean up the signal. Um, this is the cargo carrier Endeavour. Um, we have been incapacitated by pirates, and they are trying to board. Mayday, mayday, mayday.
Maybe they'll have some information about what's his name, Gauram. No, um, I know his name. I made up his name.
Golvan.
Golvan. Yes, exactly.
Gallant. No, sorry, wrong guy. Yeah.
Gallant is the guy over there.
Yes.
Yes.
Mhm.
Just enjoying listing off different G names until we hit
Mhm.
Gallant by mistake.
So, what do you do? Gallant, what's your view of what you can do? Because I think everyone's been summoned up to ops at this point.
Um, so the threat has hit the interior of the ship, or is it still exterior?
Or what you're getting from this recording, so it's recorded.
Hmm.
You can't know at this point, I think, any more than it is. They were being attacked. They'd been incapacitated. Their drive had been taken out by pirates, and those pirates were trying to board. So, I think that's about all you know right now.
Okay.
And I guess I probably, the thing I've learned from the sensors is that their drive doesn't appear to be active in any way, shape, or form, and this is the signal, and we'd have to get much closer for to identify. A boarding vessel may not appear on the long range scans, I guess, but there doesn't appear to be another ship
Well,
immediately.
I mean, no, because I think the reason you know this is a real distress signal is that the sensors do identify two bodies.
Mm.
Only one of them has an active transponder signal, and that is cargo carrier Endeavour.
Uh, well, there's a pirate ship there. Luckily, I pat the thing. We do have missile launchers,
You do.
Yeah, we do. We do have missile launchers.
Yeah,
and
and
we have
Quite a
a we have a we have a boarding an anti-boarding crew solution as well, and I pat Nestor on the shoulder.
Yeah, I mean, yes, we do.
do we want to just destroy without further information though? And Gallant looks torn because part of him is like he should probably man the weapon system and destroy that pirate ship and then get onto the, then try to look to get onto the other ship. But
If they've already sent boarders across, then there'll be some left over when we take out the ship.
I will just point out that
Mhm.
those two ships are currently
Oh
connected.
yeah, if we can't, if yeah, no, that's a danger. Yeah, no, that's a danger to hitting that other ship that's in the stress. Absolutely
It
not.
is.
Then Gallant wants to get us closer so we can dock onto this ship.
There are pirates on the ship. I don't know if you know this, but pirates are inherently very violent people, and I'd rather shoot up their ship before engaging
We could
with
we
people who
could
are
we could damage the innocents that are in trouble though.
We could bring the ship in close. Perhaps it's
yeah.
too dangerous for the missile launchers. We bring the ship in close, use the point defense turrets, cripple the pirate vessel, and then we'd hold the cards. Yes, we can We
Oh,
can
yes, that's
threaten them with
brilliant,
a
Dr.
surrender.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we blow up both ships.
Yeah.
And sort out, let Galliel sort out who's left. Yes.
Yes. And that's probably a bluff on our side. And I look at Dr. Rillis like, is this a bluff? But they don't know that. They
So we
don't
should
know
go
that.
in closer.
Yeah, we go in closer, sure.
Okay.
We'll go.
And if they shoot at us, if we are in actual danger, I will shoot them. I will try not to hit the civilian ship, but
Of course, one must do what one must do.
yeah.
So you burn towards the distress signal.
Yes.
At some pace, I'd have thought. So, what's your objective? You want to get in really close because your point defense turrets are a close range. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think this is probably about Nestor at the controls, stunt to get the ship to fly better than has a right to. I would use that one to try to get to close range before they react.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do they get advantage from my sensors roll? Because you
You
get
do.
advantage when you make use of what you've learned.
I think
so
you do.
we know the positions of everything, and
So I think
let
that
me-
you try to come at it from what you hope is a blind spot.
So is this a challenge or a risk?
I think this is the ship. So
Okay, this is the ship. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I can't use my daredevil
Afraid
move.
not. No.
Okay, fair enough. So I'm rolling with +1, but with advantage, right?
You are.
Okay, let's see how that goes. Come on, dice. You can maybe not fuck me up this time. You don't. It's a 10.
10. On
Yeah.
7+, you do it just fine. There are no adverse effects of that high G burn. And you are at close range. And I guess in a position where you can pop up from the sensor shadow caused by the cargo carrier, this quite a big bulk carrier. Were you to want to use the PDCs on the pirate ship?
As soon as I understand what a PDC is, sure.
Point defense cannons.
Okay.
Sorry,
So
I'm an expanse fan.
yeah. So that means I'll just shoot one over their bow and then hail them and tell them to send down, right?
You're at the helm. Rillis is on sensors, so
Yeah,
any
okay.
weapons control devolved to Gallant.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
So Nestor has tried to bring you in at high G, flip you around to break in the sensor shadow created by the bulk carrier, and is just going to kind of try to slide over the top of the carrier so you get a shot at close range on the pirate ship, Gallant. Yeah.
sounds about right. And I get a +2 for that.
You get roll +2. Yeah.
Yikes. Cannot roll to save my life tonight.
Wow.
That is a 5.
That is a 5. 6+, you miss, and you're at risk of damage. Rillisk, roll plus hull plating, or whatever I now call it. Yeah, hull plating. So you're rolling +1 to resist their point defense cannons.
yeah, I'm imagining that the plan was to take out their point defense guns first, right? But the guns go chew up the armor. Oof, it's a 2.
Wow.
I think roll for your party is much cooler than roll with me.
I agree.
Well, on a
Yes.
6, reduce shields by 1. So you now have hull plating at 0. Then allocate damage to the targeted components. Well, the targeted component is determined by a 2d6 roll. That's a 2 and a 1, or a 1 and a 2. 2 and a 1 is either your reactor, or 1 and a 2. I think it's controls. Ops take a hit. So I am going to apply minor damage to ops, and I am going to subtract 1 from your control interfaces. So controls is now at 0. Yeah. So Deacon, you know why you missed?
Mm-hmm.
It's the Whisper. It's the mystery ship.
Oh no.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, and that shocks Gallant, and he's like, and I think he even said out loud, "It's the whisper."
By which time their PDCs have drawn a bead on you. So decision time. What do you do? Nesta,
Um,
what are you thinking?
I'm thinking I want to get to the weapons. Am I also thinking that I want to get out of here? You know what? I'll turn to Relisk and say, can you fly the ship?
Yes,
Because I
yes, I
need to
can fly
take the
this ship.
weapon. I take the weapons.
Yeah. So you're going to engage in a close firefight with them,
Oh.
is what I'm hearing. Yeah?
I have a paint the scene kind of question.
Go ahead.
Are there multiple weapons seed, or does Deacon need to get up? Does Nestor shove Deacon out of the way? Like, how is this
Interesting
handled?
question. Well, there is a missile deck where somebody would need to go to get to launch the missiles, but the weapon systems are controlled from an adjacent compartment to the ops. So take your pick. There is one control for the PDCs.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
Gallant, are you, is it kind of response to Nestor saying, get out the fucking way?
What is that? Well, I guess that's up to Nestor. Do you even say
Yeah,
that, or do you
yeah.
just shove
I
push?
I mean, I've asked Relisk and then I'm yelling on the intercom, let me take the weapons, Deacon. I
Okay.
think I make a better shot than you.
Yeah,
And
Deacon
hopefully you,
will vacate the seat
yeah,
immediately and give
okay,
Nestor control then.
okay,
And
okay.
given Rillisk has gone over to the pilot's couch, Gallant slips into sensors.
Sure. Yeah.
Fine.
Or do
Um,
some damage control or whatever.
um, yeah, I mean, yeah, the only person really equipped to do some damage control, I think, is probably Rillisk.
Well, I mean, the reality is that we roll ship systems rather than personal stats when we
Yeah,
do ship moves.
exactly.
So Gallant could take the wheel. I don't know what the mechanic is for doing damage control, but I would imagine I'm probably like, we can easily revise that to be Gallant and Nesta swap seats while I'm busy pulling cables out of something and trying to,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because I think that when you're not doing what one of the ship moves is, you
Mhm.
devolve to a basic move or your move. And I'm thinking of construct deconstruct here.
Yeah,
Yeah. Then
yeah.
I'll slip into drive. Yeah.
Fine, fine. So Nesta,
Oh,
I think that probably the first thing that happens is now that Whisper has some active opposition here, you see them disconnecting the boarding tunnel
right.
and beginning to maneuver.
Yeah,
Uh,
okay.
yeah, and as again, I can't get the expanse of my mind. As it begins to spin away, you get that kind of spiral of PDC tracer. But let's have you attack them and see how this goes, Nesta.
Yeah, let's see if the
Um,
dice roller thinks I'm
I,
better.
I know that, but do we get a +1 just because there's point defense turrets? But if we were to use our weapons missile launch, we get a
Oh, I would
+2,
like
right?
to use the
So
missile launchers.
the only difference is the amount of damage they do and the
Okay.
range. Yeah,
Yeah.
so that the 1, 2, 3 for the different kinds are just the level of weaponry you've
Yeah, yeah,
got.
yeah.
Then
Well,
it's your weapon controls.
I
So
mean,
you roll.
it's up to Nesta then. I mean, if they fire a point blank missile into this ship and cause major damage to it, I would not be
Yeah,
against that.
and Nesta, I'm going to
Yeah.
ask you two things: missiles or PDCs. And are we talking about a targeted shot, which means you'll roll at disadvantage, or a flat one and you take potluck?
I don't want to roll with disadvantage. Disadvantage
Fine. So
just
so
fucks you over too badly usually.
so if you
So,
hit them, I will ask you to roll to find out where you hit them.
yeah, okay, that's fair. So let's go. Come on, dice. Oh, come on. This is not. Oh. Can we use another dice roller, please? This is horrifying. I mean, I don't think we've rolled, I think, about 3 times. No, and anyway, it's a 5. So no. I think
You
we're all dying anyway.
you miss and you're at risk of damage. Roll plus
Yeah.
hull plating, please. Deacon, do you want to roll plus hull plating this time?
Sure, it can only get worse.
Roll
Mhm.
plus 0, I'm afraid.
Yeah. 9.
Oh, wow.
Look
Okay.
at that. On a 7 to 9, the severity of damage is reduced by 1 step. So those PDCs would have done 1 minor damage. Um, but unless it's where you've already taken minor damage, that's a 6 and a 6. So they were targeting your quarters deck randomly. But yeah, the hull plating back there deals with it. So 7 to 9, no harm gets through. Yep. So, Rilisk, you want to do some try to get controls back.
Yeah, I want to do some, actually what I mainly want to do is I want to do something that will give advantage to the next weapons roll.
Oh, like what?
Like what would
Well,
we
there's the basic move, find an angle.
find an angle? Yeah, I think it's find an angle. I think I'm patching through into ops, and then the guns fire again, and the whisper just shrugs off our shots, right? Like it doesn't seem to be getting through. And I swear, and like you know, pull myself out from the gubbins of the ship that I'm rooting around in, and grab out my data tablet, and begin bringing it up, and I'm gonna start looking at because I know ships, I know machines, I know whatever, right? And I'm going to try and work out like where's actually vulnerable to our fire here, because the whisper so far seems impenetrable.
This sounds like you're trying to do this quickly, doesn't it?
Agility, speed, or precision? I would say it's about precision, right?
Roll plus finesse.
Yeah.
To set up to find an angle.
Or is it about my knowledge of ships and my ability to reason and intuit?
I think it's about time here.
Okay, sure. I just wanted to see if I could get the +2 instead. There we go, an 8.
An
So
8.
I elevate. That's a 7 to plus. I succeed and gain advantage. What cost accompanies my success?
What cost? I think that because of course now that you're not under full G, you're operating in effect in free fall, and so I think that I'm going to apply a stress to you as you bang your head while trying to make your way around here.
Yeah. I had to cut through and I floated across, right? And I grabbed my data pad and I was doing it, and then as Gallon punched the ship slightly to move it out of the way of something, it was strapped down, and I'm holding onto a strap while I fiddle around with this tablet.
Yeah. So that gives you advantage. Now, how do you want to use advantage, Gallant? Do you want to sit still, and give Nestor advantage to shoot, or do you want to use advantage to maneuver?
I'm gonna sit still for a moment and give Nestor advantage to shoot.
Fine. Nestor, you have advantage to activate your PDCs, or do you go to missiles?
Oh, I'm still at missiles. And I would target because disadvantage and advantage cancel each other out, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's what I'm trying to do.
Operations, engineering, or quarters, or hull. Actually, do you want a hull breach?
Operations would cripple the ship, right?
Operations is it's where you've been hit, and it's certainly caused you some disadvantages.
Okay, and hull would breach the hull, and then they probably have to retreat, hopefully. So I'm going for the hull, I think.
Fine. So missiles against the hull, go for it.
Let's go, come on.
2d6.
Wow, it's a 12.
A flat 12.
Yeah, +2 is a 14.
If only there was some benefit to that. You inflict damage on the target, and you were going for hull, so missiles do 2 steps of damage, minor and major. Another 2 steps of damage to the hull, and there will be a fucked up beyond all repair to the hull. But certainly, their hull plating is taking some missile damage there. Deacon, what do you want to do next?
I want to encourage our friend to not use the missile launcher because I am concerned about the other ship attached. So I am going to continue to try to move in closer.
Okay. So is this finding an angle to create an advantage relative to them in space?
Yes, and I think this is his it's his resolve to protect the ship in distress.
Okay, I'll go with that. Yeah, roll plus sincere.
7, 8, 9.
So on a 9, fine. Sincere, you create an advantage, or place them at disadvantage. Take your pick. What is the cost? Again, I think there's some violent maneuvering here, and which throws you about relative to your webbing that straps you into your flight couch.
Yeah.
So I'm going to apply stress to you.
All right.
Just bruising, one stress.
Just some bruising. All good. It's fine. It's worth it for everything. Yeah, I think this is just trying to get Nestor in with the PGD at the right angle that they can take out that ship but leave safety to those in trouble.
Fine. Rilisk, what about you?
Necessarily got an advantage there, right? So I will attempt to fix one of our operations systems, I think, if that's possible.
Yeah.
Which would be, I guess, brute forcing a solution under the circumstances. So it'd be plus force.
I think so.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Bang, bang, bang.
Go for it.
That's a 7.
That's a 7. On a 7 plus, you succeed. 7 to 9, the GM says what it costs. A different feature or characteristic is also added or removed. You and your relevant tools are stressed. You have to cannibalize or damage something else. Ooh, yes. If you want controls back, what are you going to cannibalize? I'll offer you security systems or weapon systems.
We need the weapon systems, the security systems.
Or sensors. Sorry, sensors. I could offer you one of 4.
I think it's going to be the security systems.
Fine.
I think I rip a big cable out from the security controls of the ship, and a little sort of like green heads-up display that like shows all the doors and sections and crew compartment and everything like flickers out and just disappears while I shove it into the controls and sparks.
Now, that doesn't get rid of the minor damage that operations has formed, but it does give you controls at +1. Nesta, Rilisk has got controls back online,
Nice.
at least for now. And Gallant has put you in a good position where the chances of you hitting the because it must be said now that the other ship is maneuvering away from the cargo carrier in order to more effectively defend itself. So, but you have an advantage. What do you want to do with that, Nesta?
I mean, I want to take out the hull plating of that ship because I don't think they'll stay around. They won't stick around, I think, with their hulls fucked. So.
Okay, so let's have you roll with weapon systems, deploying a missile.
Okay.
Roll with advantage.
Oh, it's a 4. It's a 6. Damn, I need just one more thingy, but I don't think.
Wow.
Does help work here? Probably not.
I don't think so, because I think everyone else is busy somewhere else.
Yeah, well, the dice roller is really it's okay. It's fine. We got a good hit.
On a 6-, you miss, and you're at risk of damage. Roll plus your own hull plating at disadvantage. So hull plating +0. Roll 3 dice. Rilis, do you want to do that?
Yeah, it makes sense as I'm patching things up, and then
3 dice, bottom 2.
That's a 7. Can I say that the it's not that the missile misses or anything, right? It's that they're one of their point defense guns explodes the missile before it like clears our ship, like this, so we get caught in the backlash of the explosion of our own missile.
Well, I mean, on a 7 to 9, the severity of the damage is reduced by 1 step.
Yeah.
So that PDC of 1 harm is dropped to nothing. So the hull plating does its job.
Yeah.
Yeah. Despite those disadvantages and despite rolling +0. And they are beginning to accelerate away, Nesta.
Okay. I'll just shoot some shots in their direction. I don't need to hit. If
Well,
they're going, they're going. That's fine.
fine. Gallant.
Not trying to stop them right now.
Well, I'm going to ask Gallant, who's in the pilot seat. Do you try to overtake them?
What would that involve?
That would involve rolling. When you try to outrun or overtake something, roll plus reactor, which is +2.
Oh yeah, no, these are bad people that need to go down. They need to answer for their crimes.
Oh
Fine.
no.
Let's have you roll plus reactor then. Roll +2.
7.
7. Close run thing. 7+. You choose whether you outrun or overtake them. But 7 to 9, split 3 harm, i.e. stress, between crew and the reactor.
I don't have any stress right now, just saying.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'll definitely take a stress. We'll
Okay.
give 1 stress to reactor and 1 stress to Nestor. Does that sound good?
Yeah, that's fine.
Fine. So, that sudden jolt of acceleration away as you overtake them, or you close with them back into range. Do you want to get to missile range, or do you want to get to PDC range?
Well,
Gallus?
so at this point, they are not attached to our.
No, they are
Yeah,
accelerating
they're
away.
they're fleeing. So I think Gallant, knowing his strengths and weaknesses, would call out to the other 2 and say, "Do we want missiles or PGD?"
Uh, missiles.
Yes.
They've got
Yeah.
PDTs. We've got missiles.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think he'll put them into missile position if that is what he is told.
That's fine. And that is the point when Deacon, you're next to the sensor seat, the co-pilot seat, and you see a little red dot light up, which tells you they have missile lock, and then we'll go to commercial break. Shall
Oh,
we
no.
take from now until 1:15? Is that too long?
Yeah, that's fine.
Fine.
Cool. See you.
So we restart with that whine from the sensor panels and a little red light indicating to Gallant that there is a missile in flight and it has locked on to the Fortitude. Gallant, what do you do? Because Nestor's trying to line up a missile shot themselves.
Realist will.
Well, hang on, because Gallant.
I know what we want to do, but Alan, we often plow through all of these things, and as characters, we don't get a chance to agree on what our actual plan is.
Fair enough. Yeah,
so we go moment to moment rather than what we're actually hoping to get out of this.
Okay.
So Realist is going to say that oh shit, they've got missiles too. Damn it. Well, we're either going to have to take it down, or we could just track them. We could back off and we could track them with our sensors. So I think those are the 2 options on the table, right? We either keep fighting them and we try and hold them and knock them out, knock the weapon systems out, or we've got pretty good sensors. We can drop out of missile range and follow them. That would seem to be our two options here.
We are not doing a great job here, people. I vote for tracking them right now.
I mean, Realist and me are both down with whatever Gallant hand pilot controls is, but
Nestor is like, oh no, this is a battle we could lose badly. That is not something you want. Oh, wait, he's a daredevil, right? Forgot that. So let me rescind that slightly and say whatever. I mean, get me in a position and I take them out. It's fine.
Gallant, I don't know, Kay, if you're muted.
I'm muted and talking. If it doesn't happen at least once a game, it's not a game I'm in. And then I have faith in you, Nestor, and I am going to, I want to line Nestor up so that they can launch our missiles at their missiles.
Well, so you got 2 things to come. Mechanically, you got things to do here. You can try to avoid that incoming missile using, pilot yourself so the lock is lost. Or you can wait for it to come up close and Nestor can target it with the PDCs. And then we'll determine whether the missile that Nestor puts in the air, in the vacuum, has an effect on it.
If I get us out of the way, does that give Nestor a chance to shoot at the actual ship and for us to avoid, or?
Um, Step one, can you break the missile lock by maneuvering? So you'd roll plus
Okay.
controls. Step two depends on the outcome of that.
Okay. So it's break control. I think he's just gonna try to, yeah, he's gonna try to break away from it. He has faith.
Okay, so you're going to try to pull a stunt to break the missile lock. Roll plus controls, which is now back at +1, thanks to Rilis' efforts.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. These dice hate us. That is a 5.
You fail your stunt and you pay a price. Well, the price is going to be you, Gallant, take 3 stress. You take all the harm that would have been coming from a 7 to 9 on that. So if you fill your stress,
Yeah.
then you mark a wound.
So you just said I got 3.
All 3 come to you, yeah.
So then I am at, okay, so I take a wound and then I have 2 stress.
That's fine. The wound soaks up any overflow.
Oh, wound sucks up any overflow. Okay, so then I just take a
Yeah.
wound.
The next time you take stress, you'll take another wound.
So your stress remains ticked.
So
Yes.
it does remain ticked at 2.
So
Okay,
sorry,
it
yes. Sorry, yeah. So you fill the stress track, it overflows into a wound, and then the wound track begins to fill.
So they should have 3 stress ticked at the moment then.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. 2. Okay.
Yeah. So 3 stress. Sorry, I don't know how much stress you had before that happened.
I had 2 stress before this encounter.
Okay. So the 3 stress turns into the 3rd stress box and a wound. And that's it.
And that's it. Okay.
Yeah. And that wound is going to be something like, well, I don't know, you tell me. How does your maneuvering end up giving you a lasting wound rather than just stress?
A lasting wound. I think I crack my head. Like I'm trying to maneuver so quickly that I crack my head right against like just like a sharp edge, and it just there's going to be a nice, not pretty scar on my pretty face.
Make a note, head injury. Great.
Yeah.
I think Galliel is trying to tell you something.
So Rilisk, let's see how your hull plating deals with this incoming missile.
It wasn't built to such tolerances. Shit. +0.
+0, yeah.
7.
7. On a 7 to 9, severity of the damage is reduced by 1 step. It goes from major damage, 2 boxes, to 1. So let me see where that impacts. 3 is engineering, drive. So that is the first hit to the drive. Minor damage, not major, and you lose a rating from 2 to 1. Nestor.
Yes. Have I? Can I shoot at the hull plating with the missile?
You
That's the
can.
question.
Remember, if you target a specific bit of the ship, you'll be
I
at
roll with this.
disadvantage.
I do with this, but weapons are still at 2, right?
Yes, they are.
Am I able to use the sensors at this range to perhaps provide with another advantage on that roll?
I'll give you the option to find an angle.
Yeah. Let's find an angle.
Well, this would be roll plus sharp, I think, using
Yeah.
sensors.
That's what I was aiming for, yeah, because we've got a bit of space between them rather than it just being a fist fight basically in space. That is a 9.
9. So on a 9, you have advantage, but there is a cost. I'm getting bored with applying costs and harm. Let me roll a couple of dice for costs and harm and see if something strikes me. 4 and 6. 4 and 6. Someone you trust betrays you. 6 and 4. You lose track of something important. Ooh, that's interesting.
Maybe we lose track of the ship we were trying to rescue.
Exactly. No, I think you're going to lose track of the Whisper. this missile is going to hit, and then they're going to release a whole cloud of chaff to
Okay.
mess with your sensors. So you have an advantage on this one, but then the Whisper will disappear from your screens.
Okay.
So 3d6 missile. You're cancelling the advantage with a disadvantage, so a flat 2 dice.
Okay. Come on. So, well, it's a 6 plus 2, it's an 8.
8.
It's a
So
hit. So,
fine. So on an 8. Your ship is also at risk of damage, roll plus hull plating, but you hit it, and that means that it is its hull plating has taken harm, significant harm, major damage. There we go. But you need to roll with hull plating. Gallant, can I come back to you? Because you haven't
Yeah.
made a roll for a minute. Let's have you roll +0 with the hull plating to see if
A 7.
7 to 9, severity of the damage reduced by 1 step goes to nothing because it's just subsidiary damage from that missile attack. But then the Whisper's gone. It didn't have a transponder. It's running dark, and it's released a huge cloud of chaff to confuse your sensors.
But we did get probably the last reading was that missile going through the severe damage to the hull.
Major damage to the hull. So it is going to need some kind of repair. I mean, so are you, but NPCs always need repair quicker than you do. And its heading was towards the planet. Now, I don't know if that's not a good point for us to pause, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because there's a significant break here between our first bit of space combat and your intention to go down to Void 3 anyway. Yeah? So I think we'll call this episode there, unless there's something particular any one of you wants to do. Let me start with Gallant. Is there anything we want to see Gallant do before the end of the episode?
I think Gallon's concern isn't even necessarily himself or them. It's the ship that was in distress. And so I think he kind of wants to try to reach out and be like, hello, is anyone alive? Are you all right? We've seemed to have gotten them away, you know.
I think this. I'm going to leave this to a dice roll, really. And I think that this is investigate. Gallant. Roll plus sharp.
Yeah, roll plus sharp. Oh, Gallant. 6 minus 1 is a 5.
Ooh.
You unearth something you wish you hadn't. There are no responses. And your sensors pick up bodies floating in the vacuum.
I think we just watch with like this large bleeding head wound. Gallant places his head, like leans down against the sort of, I'm almost picturing like a race car control, but like one of the control systems, and just lets out a sob that is so loud you don't need intercoms to hear it.
Lovely. Rillis, do we see anything of Rillis before the episode closes out?
I think she'll just put a hand on Gallant's shoulder as the bodies, drift deep against the backdrop of Void 3, perhaps, from the cargo carrier.
I like that. Nestor, anything from you before we close out the episode?
I think Nestor is like cursing, I guess, because they got away. We had them, and they got away. Damn it. On the other hand, they are a little relieved that they are all still alive. And we'll come down to look at the other two and see that, well, the other ship is not, well, we didn't rescue anyone. It's a pity. That would have been nice, but, that's what you get from dealing with these guys.
You're not tempted to go and look at what cargo the cargo carrier was? No, that's an awful suggestion for me to make. We'll leave that until next time.
I mean, that totally crossed my mind if we were on a different mission, this would be what we would do, right? We would scavenge the cargo carrier. It's just going to waste otherwise, but
I mean,
we're here for the Whisper.
we need parts for this ship, honestly, because this ship is pretty banged up. So, yeah.
Well, I mean, there is an explore move when you're the first member of the crew to enter an unexplored zone of an apparently abandoned ship or habitat. Just leave that on the table.
Yeah. Maybe next time. This time, I think I want to see how my people are doing. Everybody's bleeding, fine. The deacon is bleeding even worse, not so fine.
So yeah, shall we just deal with any injuries coming out of that? Because you do have a med bay. So there's a downtime thing, and at other times when there's time, roll plus med bay once per crew to refresh or heal. Refresh would clear your stress track. Heal would remove a wound. So, yeah.
So I think it's let's roll to heal Gallon, I think.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That seems a good place to start. So, Gallant, do you want to roll the dice? As you plug yourself into the auto dock down up in the med bay, roll +1.
Man, the way he does it, like it's almost like a zombie as he's moving and doing the perfunctory things, but there is a usual light or jovialness. No, I don't do it. No. He's so distracted by his grief that he fucks it up.
Oh no. Can we help him though?
Yeah, well, I was going to say, yeah, because what I've just seen is him rather distractedly trying to work the auto dock. So is there someone who wants to either use finesse or sharp to try to calm Gallant down, or get him to settle in the auto dock chair and do the work themselves? Realisk?
I can roll plus sharp.
You're the nearest we have to a medic aboard.
Yeah, right. Gently move the little electrode things, pads that go on, and reset the computer. And that's a 10.
On a 10. 7+, their outcome improves by 1 step, or they gain advantage if they already rolled a 10+. So that fail turns into a mixed success, and you remove a wound. Yeah. Anyone else?
I just think,
no, go.
Yeah, Gallon is he's moving, but like his face is so blank, and he hasn't said a word, which is just so not Gallant, since that like pained sob, like it's just a blankness.
And he goes
I think I've seen that before in soldiers, right? When they're overwhelmed. So I think I'll go to them to Deacon them him, and I'll say, look, buddy, this was a bad one, but at least you've got your faith. Maybe kind of maybe that will help you, right? I don't know, but I am not a faithful person, but I think maybe can look at that to help you a little. I don't know.
Do you because it sounds like you're trying to reduce the level of stress that Gallant is experiencing at the moment.
Yeah, I guess I'm trying. I don't know if he's responsive to this at all. It's not my forte or anything, but
See how you roll.
Well, yeah, because what I'm thinking here is that you want to take a risk.
I always want to take a risk.
The positive bit of this would be that you'd reduce stress by 1 on Gallant, but it could be that he blows up on you.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah.
So let's have you roll. I think it is with sincere, though.
Okay. So you said it, take a risk, right?
Yeah.
So I could just do it.
How do you mean?
I mean, this is I have this career move, but I don't know if
I see. No,
I mean, it's not.
Yeah,
really...
if you look at the kind of successes you can get.
Yeah. Okay, that doesn't help. Okay, I'm doing it with sincere, which is not, as I said, not my forte, but you never know, right? Oh, it's a 9. Look at that.
7+, you're successful. Reduce stress by 1 Gallant. 7 to 9, the GM says what costs accompanies your success. What's your reaction, Gallant, in a negative way to Nesta?
Oh, I think His eyes kind of narrow a little as he looks at Nestor, and the first actual expression comes to his face, and he says, "Now is a moment when you want to talk about faith and believe? Now?"
I mean, I'm just trying to help you, buddy. It's not for me, maybe, but I know it's important to you.
So it's only useful for when you can try to extort something out of it. And just, yeah, I think it's, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think Nestor is okay, fuck you too, it's fine.
I think that's nice because I think that the cost there is just that tension that we've now got on the table. Rilisk, do you need any help? Because you could use the med bay and reduce stress.
Yeah, I'll do that. Why not?
Yeah, you can use the med bay's stimulants to clear your stress track, refresh. So 2d6 plus 1.
Nope. That's fine.
And what about you, Nestor? You're sitting on 1 stress at the moment.
I'm stalking off the med bay. I'm pissed off. I mean, I try to reach out to this guy and he blows up at me. I mean, okay, fine. That's what he wants to be. Yeah.
Delightful. Then I think that's our episode. Let's do some end of session XP just in case. Gallant, was your backstory relevant for good or ill?
I think so.
Yeah, I'd go with that. Give yourself a box.
Okay.
I championed an ally or helped them take center stage.
I feel like I handed out advantages and kind of tried to push towards the narrative choices that other people would make over what Gallant maybe thought.
Yeah, I'll give you another one. That fills that stress XP track. So you'll clear that 6 and choose an advantage, and you'll find an improvement, and you'll find those up on row 21. What about Dr. Rilisk?
I don't think my backstory was relevant here, particularly for good or ill, not this session.
I'm
fine with that. It didn't come up.
No, I don't think it did. I think it's fair. I think that's fair.
But I think I spent pretty much the entire ship's combat essentially championing allies or helping them take stage.
Desperately trying to create an ally, create an angle or aid an ally. So you can have one for that. And Nestor, backstory?
Yes, I think so. With the mercs, that was relevant.
Captain Golvan, yeah. And champion an ally or help them take center stage?
I mean, it was at the weapons the whole time, so there was not much opportunity for that. But when Deacon Gallus said take them out, I was like, okay, let's try that. And I think that giving.
Can I suggest somewhere that I think right at the end there, where you had that conversation?
Oh
with
yes,
Gallant,
right. Okay, yes, I try to do that.
And Gallant did gain a stress back.
Yeah.
So I think you can have that one. So you get 2 this time round.
Yeah. Where are the improvements at?
If you go up to row 21, you'll see, and it might be worth me explaining how the improvements work. If you hit the drop down, you've got gear up, upgrade, and recover. And then you've got a set related to your stats. So your force has to be greater than 0 to take advantage of any of those 4 or 5 forces, and so on down, right? Okay. And then if you keep scrolling down, you'll find some career-related ones.
I see. Oh.
Yeah?
Nice.
So you might want to have a look at that between now and next time, because I think 2 of you will have an improvement to take.
Question quickly. So can we not raise stats as a...
No.
Okay.
No, it's a deliberate
choice. Yeah. Okay.
I'm always a bit everything you do using X goes up by 1.
No, that's valid.
So have a look at those improvements and see what takes your fancy and slot them in. And we'll meet again next time. But a quick stars and wishes, if that's okay. Will, any stars, any wishes?
I thought ship combat was really fun. I thought that was I was imagining it as an expanse fight as well, of course. right down to the ships rolling over like that cargo carrier as cover, like as we come in, the PDTs going off, the explosions, the being rammed, like knocked around the ship. I thought the downtime information gathering was fun, and I really like the idea of this system. A medieval like style planet that could be a thriving thoroughfare if it wasn't complicated by all those savages down there. And so everyone just stays up in space. It was nice to play with Deacon Gallant. I enjoy having a religious fanatic from an autocratic regime with us who truly believes in the goodness of the cause. I really enjoyed the line, he's a sycophant. I thought that's great. So like Captain Carrot, but without the full heroism, basically. If he was a zealot for a misguided, member of a faith, which is cool. And Nesta, being a badass and using those missiles, because the second that our ambush didn't go off as like we expected, I was like, yeah, blow them up, blow them up, blow them up, blow them up. We're desperate now. That was a really good space fight. So yeah, those are my my stars.
Any wishes?
Wishes. I'd like to know where fix, refresh, and heal are fleshed out on the character keeper, because they're referenced, but I can't find them in terms of like an explanation of them. I want to say another Star Wars. I really enjoyed that we have like faith, science, and like cold steel among us. Where the wishes would be, we should use like I use my use creds. We should use creds in other roles. I know it made perfect sense there in terms of a thing, but you could also use it for like I bought a one special missile for us to fire before to gain advantage on stuff like that. Particularly when we've got a really bad run of dice rolls like today, it might be worth remembering that we do have a go-to meta currency for advantage.
And it gets higher if you could get your wealth up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, which we might do. And I guess for next session, I'd love to explore something. Like use those mechanics for explore. Much as I love like poking around an empty space, a derelict spaceship that's just been like open to space would be very cool. I think that we've got one session left for sure, right? We don't know what will come after that. And I think that fictionally we're in hot pursuit, and we weren't that badly. We were damaged, but we weren't badly damaged anywhere. So I think we're in a position to carry on the hunt rather than a need to go and scavenge the ship for parts to go on. So I think that to me, it makes more sense to pursue the Whisper down to the planet, and hopefully there's an explore the planet in there somewhere rather than explore a derelict ship. And fictionally, it would be like, well, we can scavenge that cargo carrier on the way back, but we'll lose the Whisper if we don't go down there now, kind of thing.
Okay, I get that.
And I just want to. It's like just looking at our gear. Nesta's the only one of us who's really equipped in any way to like do anything here. I don't know what things, but I think I already declared all 3 bits of my gear as like engineering-y stuff. It'd be cool if we had some way of like on planet sourcing, like even if it's just temporary gear, right? But like calling a contact, that kind of stuff. Like just equip you with something that's going to be slightly useful to your like some like a gun or a weapon or whatever, right? Like I don't want us to be. I'd like us to have the option of temporary gear that we would use for the task, even if it's not.
I'm looking down your list. Pistol.
But I've already.
Drill,
I'm
demolition.
sorry. I think I need to declare the data tablet because I used that last session. So my understanding of the gear list is that I select 3 at the start of play, right?
Yeah.
But then because one of the improvements is acquire a new piece of
I
gear
see what
from
you
your
mean.
kit,
Yeah.
It's not like Blades in the Dark where you declare it as you go.
No, right. It's just I was looking at the list, I couldn't see a third one.
Oh no, I think while I was looking at what the options would be, I think I forgot to select it back to data tablet.
I'll be honest with you, there are quite some deliberate choices in there.
Yeah.
To force some non-combat options.
Yeah.
And you could always improvise.
Something. Yeah, I could do. Yeah, couldn't I? Yeah, it was just an idea. Like I know that one of us has got a favor with the Council of the Forsaken.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
yeah,
They should be able to equip you with a sword and a shield each.
exactly. Yeah. Anyway, sorry, that was a long group
And
of
a
wishes.
10-foot pole. Sabine, any stars, any wishes?
Yeah, stars to the characters. That was fun. I loved the Deacon Gallant blowing up at the end. That was really good. I also always will enjoy Rilis being sciencey about things. Yeah, and as to the space combat, I liked that the two others had opportunities to do stuff. I did not like that I only had the opportunity to shoot. That was
Well,
like,
I
okay,
I guess you made the choice to go and sit with weapons.
yeah, but still, there was not much to do for me except to shoot at
Okay.
stuff. And wait for others to grant me an advantage, which was fun for to see what happened there. But all I could do was push the button and try to hit the ship and not hit the ship, as it were. But still, it was and also I wish you had told me about the cred system on the planet when I was on the planet, because it might have been able to do with something with that too. But all I got was a threatening voice in my ear and a pumpkin spice latte. So
Fair enough. Fair enough.
so yeah,
Any wishes?
yes, I have a wish. I would
Go
like
on.
to be shady next time.
Okay.
Just
I need to give you
saying.
something to sneak into, or you need to tell me you're sneaking into something.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's mainly on me to be shady, clearly, but yeah, I would like to have more opportunities to do other things than just hit things, maybe a little at least.
Kay, any stars, any wishes?
Oh yeah, a ton of stars. I will sort of second Will there. I really love the dynamic between these three, like the scientist, the true believer, and then a man who has seen war and is battle hardened, but also still seems to care. Um, it really creates such like a rounded out environment of characters to play off each other, and I'm very excited to see what Jack's in the mix with all, hopefully all four of us, looks like. A star definitely to Nestor, to Sabine, for having Nestor try to reach Gallant and Gallant just not being in the right place in the right roles. And, I thought that scene could have gone one or two ways. It could have gone the way it went, or it could have actually been like a really touching moment. And I think both could have been like really, satisfying story wise. So star for that. Alan, negative star for this dice roller. How dare, this is definitely all your fault. No, yeah, I appreciate a GM that's not afraid to say, yeah, you fucking got rocked. Uh, you know, things don't always go well, and I don't necessarily believe in playing to win per se. So I appreciate you not giving us the easy way there. There's probably a couple of moments where you could have made it easier, and you were like, no, this is a dangerous ship battle with pirates. So I appreciate you doing that. Um, wishes. Um, I did put in the chat my choices I am waffling between for improvement, so I'd love people's opinions there. Followed by yeah, I think our deacon might be having a crisis of faith, and I am curious to have a situation that either, and this we'll maybe see depends on roles or who we meet or what goes on, but I'm curious to see or to have an interaction with an NPC that either worsens his crisis of faith or helps him alleviate his crisis of faith and these feelings, because I don't think he's doing so hot. He's pretty stressed. Now he's scarred,
Yeah, no, I get that. And the truth is
Why would
that
Gilly let this
that's
happen? Like,
exactly. I mean, it looks like Galliel's not really, playing with the home team here, doesn't it?
yeah.
You see, I mean, yeah, dice roller, it's Galliel.
It's Gallium. Yeah. So I think, yeah, those are the two things. If people want to chime in and give opinion on that, I'd love that. And then I'd like to have a scene with probably maybe an NPC of some kind. Or, if there's a PC that wants to take that on in some way, I'm open to that as well. To either help him with his faith and restoring it, or maybe someone who wants to create further doubt inside of the deacon.
Oh, went the crowd. Stars from me. I thought the character interactions were great. I thought we had a couple of really good scenes with the downtime scenes, which were working with the politics. I thought there was good interaction between Rilisk and Gallant on that. I love the fact that Nesta sought out a coffee shop. You know, I had all kinds of place, you know, dens of scum and villainy in my head, but a coffee shop. Um, and I have to say, I was very pleased with the space battle. I appreciate that, you know, depending on the choices you make, you can find yourself, you know, in that seat. Um, but yeah, I thought it went pretty well actually as a system. So I like it. I think it's worth persevering with. And yeah, the two sides of Deacon. I think we saw Deacon being vulnerable for the first time at the end there, and Nesta trying to make things work. And we've got some tension to work with there. So maybe it's Nesta who needs to nudge Gallup one way or the other. Or if not, I will find an NPC because I think the Council of the Forsaken have much to be angry with God about. So, you know, we'll find out next time.
Is the very last shot of the episode is, you know, the post-credits scene is Jax rolling out of his bunk and going like, oh, so what did I miss?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the love letter for Jax will be all about how he spent his downtime, and then, you know, yeah, it was tricky. The spaceship and missing players is tricky, I think.
Yeah. How did he get locked in the bolt hole and wasn't able to help?
Maybe he locked himself in the bolt hole.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for that. Last question, can I post this recording?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Then I will